very good evening. Welcome to State of Business on our television. I'm Ashingsani Veerasinghe. Let's have a look at the headlines first. Deadline for accepting the complaints on State Bank's irregularities extended. Sri Lankan migrant workers who lost their jobs to be facilitated with new careers. News in detail. The committee, which was appointed to investigate the alleged irregularities, inefficiencies and malpractices by 4 state banks during the past 5 years, announces that the deadline for accepting the complaints is extended till the end of this month. A statement issued by the Ministry of Finance quoting the committee members said that around 100 complaints have been received so far. A 4-member committee led by former High Court Judge Sisira Ratnayaka was appointed to investigate the irregularities and malpractices that may have occurred since the 8th of January 2015 in 4 state banks, including Bank of Ceylon, People's Bank, National Savings Bank, Regional Development Bank and affiliated institutions. Chartered accountant Susantha De Silva and retired Additional Auditor General W. Premananda function as the other members of the committee, while an official from the Finance Ministry acts as the secretary to the committee. The committee has also been entrusted to identify officials and outside parties responsible for financial losses. The statement by the ministry said that the committee will also present recommendations on legal, financial and administrative measures required to ensure such malpractices do not occur in the future, as well as recommendations on offering an improved service through the state banking system. Accordingly, the Finance Ministry requests the general public to forward their complaints to the address of the Director General, Public Enterprises Department, Finance Ministry, Secretariat Building, Colombo 1 or on electronic mail vijayratna.phas@ped.treasury.gov.lk before the 30th of this month. The statement also added that after the deadline, the committee will also look into the issues raised by the general public. Sri Lanka Tea Board states that the national tea production in the country in August this year has decreased by 14% in comparison to the production in the same month last year. Accordingly, Sri Lanka Tea Board shows that the tea production in this year's August is nearly 22 million kilograms in comparison to 26 million kilograms in August 2019. Thus, it shows a decrease of 3,774,285 kilograms, which accounts to 14% decrease against the corresponding month of 2019. Consequently, with the fall of the overall tea production, the production of the high-grown, low-grown and medium-grown tea sectors have decreased in the previous month in comparison to August 2019. Then the cumulative tea production for the first 8 months shows a decline of 15% against that of the last year. The electricity sector regulator, the Public Utility Commission of Sri Lanka, together with Ceylon Electricity Board and Lanka Electricity Company Private Limited, has launched the first ever island-wide provincial mobile service in the southern province to solve the complaints of the electricity consumers with the participation of more than 500 electricity consumers. Accordingly, the mobile service will be held in all the 9 provinces, addressing the electricity-related complaints of the consumers and offering them with solutions, sharing the regulatory tools with the consumers who seek information, and introducing the new services by utility providers. Thus, it is noted that it's a concept of the President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa that public servants should go to the public and serve them. According to the statistics of the Southern Province Mobile Service, about 500 complaints were received and solutions were provided to all the issues at the premises. Most of the complaints were about way leaves, electricity supply to block out lands, meter shifting, new connection and name changing of the electricity connections. The next stop of the mobile service will be held in Anuradhapura and Polonnaruwa in the month of November, addressing the issues of electricity consumers of North Central Province in Sri Lanka. Furthermore, PUCSL states that it has received 865 electricity-related complaints from January to September 2020 compared to 1,382 electricity complaints received for the same period in 2019. Stay tuned for more news after this short break. Welcome back after the break. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assures that the government will seek the assistance from the international lending agencies to help the struggling small and medium enterprises. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Mahinda Rajapaksa made this assurance speaking at the conference titled as Solutions to Meet Challenges Faced by SMEs in Financial Management, Bank Funding and Entrepreneurial Leadership in the Post-COVID New Economy, which was held at the Magam Ruhunupura International Convention Centre in Hambantota yesterday. The conference was organized by the Institute of Certified Management Accountants of Sri Lanka, COVID-19 SME Development Committee, and the Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa was the chief guest of the inaugural ceremony of the conference. Moreover, Minister of Irrigation Chamal Rajapaksa, Minister of Industries Vimal Weerarangsa, and State Minister of Money and Capital Market and State Enterprise Reforms Ajit Niwad Cabral and many other ministers were also present at the event.
මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකන අංශය අද අපේ රටේ ආර්ථිකයේ කොඳුර ආරට්‍යයි කියලා කිව්වොත් ඒක නිවැරදි. ඒ අපේ රටේ සෑම අංශයකම නියෝජනය වීම වැදගත් අපිට සතුටු වෙන්න පුළුවන්. අපගේ දළ ජාතික නිෂ්පාදනයෙන් 52% නිවැරදි කිරීමට යටත්ව පමණ එම අංශය දායක වෙනවා කියලා කිව්වොත් සමස්ත රැකියාවන්ගෙන් 45% ඊට අයත්. එසේම එම අංශය දිවයිනේ මුළු ව්‍යවසායක සංඛ්‍යාවෙන් 75%කින් සමාන්විතයි. මුදල් අමාත්‍යාංශය යටතේ ශ්‍රී ලංකා මහා බැංකුවේ සහයෝගය ඇතිව COVID-19 මගින් බලපෑමට ලක් වූ ව්‍යාපාර නගා සිටුවීම සඳහා රුපියල් බිලියන 133ක මුදලක් ප්‍රදානය කිරීමට වෙන් කිරීමට හැකියවීම අපිට සතුටක්. කුඩා සහ මධ්‍ය පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකයන් මගින් කෙරෙන අපනයනවල ගෝලීය ප්‍රතිශතයේ සාමාන්‍ය සංඛ්‍යාව 30ක් කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ. නමුත් ලංකාව සම්බන්ධයෙන් එම ප්‍රතිශතය 5%යි. ඒ වැඩි කිරීම සඳහා රජයක් ලෙස අප සහයෝගය දක්වන බව මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කිරීමට කැමැතියි. වත්කම් හිඟකම නිසා අලුතින් පිහිටවන සමපාර්ශ්වීය අපකරුවන් ඉදිරිපත් කළ නොහැකි කුඩා සහ මධ්‍යම පරිමාණ ව්‍යවසායකයන් වෙනුවෙන් විදේශීය මුදල් ලබා දෙන ආයතනවල සහාය ලබාගෙන මෙම ආයතන පිහිටවීම සඳහා අපගේ සහයෝගය අපි ලබා දෙනවායි කියන එක
Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment announces that a new system has been introduced to grant the final approval for migrant workers who have lost their jobs in various countries due to the COVID-19 pandemic to take up another job in the same country. Issuing a press release, Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment states that Bureau Chairman Kamal Ratwatta has informed the foreign employment agents about the procedure via a circular with effect from September 15th. Accordingly, the new procedure will enable workers who have lost their jobs abroad due to the pandemic and are unable to return to Sri Lanka at the end of the employment contract period to be given the necessary formal approval to take up another job in that country. Necessary approval and issuance of security stamp to the passport can be obtained from the Labour Welfare Division of the respective embassy of Sri Lanka in the country where the worker is located. The facility can be obtained after the required documents are sent by the foreign employment agents in Sri Lanka to the foreign agents at the place where the worker hopes to work. Nevertheless, the family background report required for the domestic workers are not required in registering for a new job. Moving on, it is noted that the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Brasilia has recently finalized the certification process for the export of the cinnamon from Sri Lanka to Brazil in bark form with Brazilian authorities. Accordingly, Sri Lankan exporters who had difficulties until now in exporting Sri Lankan cinnamon in bark form to Brazil can export the product by furnishing the necessary phytosanitary certificate issued by the National Plant Quarantine Service Office in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka cinnamon exporters can claim 5% duty preference under the Global System of Trade Preferences Agreement from Brazil, and therefore the companies that interested in exporting cinnamon in bark form can consult with the Department of Commerce to receive GSTP certificate. The Colombo International Book Fair, organized by the Book Publishers Association, commenced at the BMICH last Friday and will be held until this Sunday. The epidemiology unit of the Ministry of Health said that the book fair organisers have been advised to stringently follow the health guidelines issued by the ministry with regard to the coronavirus. As the month of September is known as the month of literacy, the discussions, book launches and many other events are taking place all over the island. Accordingly, journalist Harshani Veeraratne released her fifth literature work last Friday at a small function held at the Medical Research Institute in Colombo. The event was attended by Environment Ministry Secretary Dr. Anil Josingha, Professor Praneeth Abesundara, Chairman of the Election Commission Mahinda Deshapriya and several others. Meanwhile, another young writer named as Kapila Mahesh Rajapaksa released his two books, including a novel named as Pruthuvi Bakshaka and a collection of poetry named as Sankranti Kaviyak. Two lectures were delivered by prominent lyricist Ravi Sirivardhana and frontline Socialist Party Politburo member Pubudu Jagoda at the event which took place in Colombo last week. At the meantime, Kadulla Publishers chief Priyantha Ranasinghe also briefed the gathering on the catastrophe which the printing industry has faced at present.
ලංකාවේ ප්‍රකාශන ශාස්ත්‍රය සහ මුද්‍රණ කර්මාන්තය කොරෝනා නිසාම අර්බුදයකට ලක් වෙලා තියෙන වෙලාවක්. ඊට පස්සේ පොත ගහලා පොත් ගොඩ දිහා මේ දවස්වල බලමින් ඉන්නවා. ඒ තරම් පොත් එකතුවක් අපි සන්තකයේ තිබෙනවා.
We'll be back with stock updates after this short break. Welcome back after the break. The trading at Colombo Stock Exchange ended on a mixed note today. The all-share price index gained 42.04 points to close at 5,762.71 and the S&P SL 20 dropped 0.68 points to close at 2,511.72. The turnover was 3.5 billion rupees and over 199 million shares were traded. Up next are forex rates. And that's all the news for today. See you tomorrow with State of Business at the usual time. Until then, take care. Good night.